Can we just pick up a point that Alex made there? It's rumoured that the late Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah had agreed to a 21-day ceasefire shortly before he was assassinated, and that was known to the Americans and others. As far as you know, is that true?
Yes, we expressed our agreement to this scheme that was laid out by the US, UK and 15 other nations. Unfortunately, you also what happened when Netanyahu reached New York, he just rebuffed all this peace plan, and he's still doing that. So that's a text that is still binding to us. The Prime Minister had just reiterated that we still attached to this text, asking for a ceasefire, 21-day ceasefire, and meanwhile negotiate a diplomatic arrangement that would address all the concerns.
So you think that there could have been a ceasefire and that was derailed by the assassination of Mr. Nasrallah?
That's a statement of fact that is known to everyone, Trevor. We're dealing with the warmongering Israeli government. And I think when they tell you that their concerns is about rockets being fired, when they tell you that their concerns is about 60,000 civilians that were displaced from northern Israel, there is a diplomatic way to address these concerns. Well, they chose a different path. They chose a path of violence, of brutalizing a whole population. It's not even about Hezbollah. They scapegoat groups here and there, like they scapegoat Hamas in Gaza, but it's not about Hezbollah. Today it's about Lebanon, it's not about Hezbollah.
Well, let's talk about Lebanon. Obviously, I'm going to talk to the Israeli ambassador, and I'm sure she will have her own views about exactly what they are and whether they're warmongering or not. But let's just talk about the Lebanese people this morning. What can you tell us about the position, fatalities, displacement and so on? Alex Crawford painted a pretty vivid picture for us.
Well, you know, Lebanon is under a full-scale aggression with unfettered violence and unrestrained brutality. Already the death toll reached more than 2,000, 1.2 displaced, sparing no civilian lives, no civilian quarters in Beirut city and its suburbs, and all over Lebanon, sparing no medical facilities and support teams. They even bombing support teams when they try to attend to the blast sites, and total violation of international humanitarian law, an embargo over Lebanon. So it's a full-scale war which is causing, which has already caused and increasingly causing a humanitarian crisis.
But you attribute essentially the current situation to Israeli action. But is the brutal truth here actually that the Lebanese government doesn't control its own territory, and that actually Hezbollah is the most powerful presence in your country, and that actually you are to some extent their prisoners? That actually this is as much what they are doing as what the Israelis are doing, and you can't do anything about it.
This is the deceitful Israeli narrative that tries to justify their warmongering pattern of behavior. Hezbollah, of course, is an important party.
You've got 60,000 Hezbollah fighters pretty much on your territory. Do you want them there or not?
Well, we've said that we have the framework, which is a UN framework.
Yeah, but
Resolution 1701.
Can you take them out of your country or not?
They're Lebanese. How can you take part of your Lebanese population out of your country? Yes, they are Lebanese.
All the Hezbollah fighters are Lebanese people.
That came in a context, Trevor.
Not Palestinians.
No, they are Lebanese. Hezbollah fighters are Lebanese, and we shouldn't drag to this reductive and simplistic Israeli narrative, which always blames others for their wrongdoing. Hezbollah fighters came in a context. It's not a justification. It's just you need to understand how the genesis of how this happened in order to be able to address them. Israel occupied Lebanon for 22 years. And then when we had this 1701 framework, they continued their occupation to enclaves at our borders. So there is a pillar principle in international relations. Security can only be based on mutual security. You cannot expect your neighbor to give you security when you don't give him security. That's why we said the only way to address that is to put all these grievances on the table within this UN framework and address all concerns. But it was never about their population in the south. This is only a false pretext that they're using to terrorize the population, to divert attention from the fact that Israel is a country that only knows how to kill and cannot deliver peace.
I'm very happy to let you say what you said about Israel, but I just want you to be absolutely clear. Are you saying that Hezbollah is essentially a Lebanese operation sanctioned and tolerated by the Lebanese government and in some senses favoured by the Lebanese people? Is that what you're really saying?
There are many Lebanese that do not agree with Hezbollah. But this should be addressed in an inclusive Lebanese way and should be addressed in a way...
So is it okay for them to be firing thousands of their 150,000 missiles into Israel, displacing 60,000 Israelis? Is that something that the Lebanese authorities think is okay, or do they not want it to happen on Lebanese territory?
They want to address it in a way that is holistic, without singling out one side and moving away from what Israel has been doing.
But that's fine. You've been telling me all the things that Israel ought to do. You haven't said to me anything that Hezbollah ought to do.
But these things should be addressed holistically.
So what should Hezbollah do?
You cannot keep on singling out what Hezbollah has been doing and totally move away or look away from what Israel has been doing.
With respect, you spent 5 minutes telling me what Israel should do. You haven't yet told me what you want Hezbollah to do and how you'll make them do it.
Well, we have the 1701 resolution that is clear. It puts obligation on both the Lebanese side, but it also puts obligations on the Israeli side. Once they started delivering their obligations, respecting Lebanese sovereignty, refraining from violations to our airspace, then they would be putting the conducive elements to reciprocal obligations from all sides. That's what we're saying. You cannot have a reductive or simplistic, and that's what the Israelis always do. And they do it intentionally because their scheme is much beyond Hezbollah. It's not about Hezbollah the same way that in Gaza it's not about Hamas. It's a country that only knows how to kill and that is unable to deliver peace. They want to terrorize. They want to brutalize the populations around them as a way to divert attention that they are unable to deliver the two-state solution for the Palestinians.
All right. Okay, well, let me ask you this in another way then. Given that Hezbollah has bases in your towns and missiles on your land being used to kill Israelis, do you accept, as most states in the world appear to, that Israel has a right to go to war to defend its people?
Well, when you are in a posture of occupation, how can you speak about self-defense? You're occupying part of the Lebanese territories.
Do you accept that Israel has the right to defend its territory?
When it's in an occupying posture, even international law, when you are an occupier, when you have an occupation posture, does not grant you the right for self-defense. We have to deal with the crises at their inception. We have to look how they started. They always talk about October the 7th. All the Arab countries, they do not condone the horrors of October the 7th. But look at September of 2023. September came before October, I assume. 200 Palestinians were killed in the West Bank. So October the 7th came in a context, and that is not meant to justify. We all were shocked by the horrors of October the 7th, but they came in a context. It doesn't help to bash the United Nations. It doesn't help to bash the French president. Now the roadmap towards security and stability is clear. We get a ceasefire in Lebanon. We get a ceasefire in Gaza. And we look for a diplomatic way to address all concerns. And all concerns should be put on the table.
Ambassador, this case has been made many times, and all of the signs are it's not going to happen. Is this, in the end, a situation...
Because Israel is blocking it. It's clear.
Well, you may say it's Israel. Other people will say it's Hezbollah and so on. But
listen to
but I just want to ask you about Lebanon itself. In the end, how does Lebanon see its way out of this crisis? Is it just going to be another occasion when the Lebanese people have to wait until it's all over, other people fighting on their land, and then they have to pick up the pieces?
No, I think we're stakeholders for peace in the region. We have subscribed to the Arab Peace Initiative, which speaks about peace in the whole region. However, you need conducive situation. You need cooperation from the other side in order to get to peace. Lebanon does not seek war. Lebanon has always been the victim of wars of the region, and now the victim of Israeli extremist government.
And Iran?
It's part of the region, and we need to find a way to accommodate all the stakeholders. It's not that Iran will disappear overnight. It has always been in the region. It's an important actor in the region. It has its plus and minuses, like all others.